Today we're going to focus on a theme of infinite possibilities. So working with creative energies in a way that feels like a new dawn, creation energies. So the mudra is called Ushas mudra. You interlace the inner edges of the fingers so the fingertips actually snug in to the space in between the fingers on the opposite hand. The left hand is below the right, so the left finger, baby finger's at the bottom, and then that makes it so that the right thumb is on top of the left. Right? So it creates a little cupping. It's not an interlace like this, it's an interlace of the inner edges. And we're going to start out in reclining butterfly pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. So you'll need 1 or 2 blankets, a bolster and a blanket, some combination of things. If you like to use a belt, you can have a belt in a kind of largest loop. And what you'll do is just make that nice loop. Have the buckle, it's going to be near your waist here. Bring the loop over your body and snug it in through the lower back area, kind of at the tailbone area. And then you're going to loosen it up so that you can wrap the other end of the loop around your feet, the outsides of your feet together. So just have the bent knees as much as you can bend them, that's comfortable. You might like to have a block underneath each of the knees or thighs, and not to prop it up artificially, but so that the knees can just rest into it. So the buckle on the side of one of your hips here, so it's easy to undo when the posture is over. And then you're going to have your bolster behind you, and you're going to have a little bit of a gap between where your buttocks are and where the bolster is, especially if you have lower back issues, maybe even 6 to 8 inches. If that's not the case, then you can have the bolsters or the blanket snugged right up into your low back. So before coming down, bring your hands behind you, press through the arms, lift the chest, lift the buttocks and tuck the tailbone and lower the buttocks further up towards your waist onto the floor. Maintain that and then slowly lower down. And if your chin is really high above your forehead, you may want to take your blanket and just have enough of a lift underneath your blanket so that your head is more parallel to the bolster. In other words, your forehead's just a little bit higher than your chin. And then you're going to bring your hands together in the Ushas mudra, rest them on the belly. If that doesn't feel good, you may want to have some other props underneath your elbows. So again, your shoulders can relax and your hands just can rest. So you can open the shoulders and come into this space of stillness for yourself. And start to take some nice full deep breaths, breathing into the space of the pelvic floor, up into the pelvic area, into the middle of the belly, into the heart, and into the throat. And as you exhale, feel your energy expand. So nice, full, deep breaths. Feeling the breath ascend from the root chakra in the pelvic floor tailbone area, going through to the second chakra, going from earth to water element, up into the fire element in the solar plexus, where the hands are, into the heart, the 4th chakra, from fire now to air, and then up into the throat, the space element. And again, as you exhale, do so without force, but nice and smooth and even. feeling and noticing the experience of expansion. So continue this process. Ushas mudra connects us, as I mentioned, with the potential of infinite possibilities of creation from source energy. It connects with these first 5 chakras, moving the energy up and down through the subtle body effortlessly. The experience of Ushas is connecting with that energy of the dawn, where it's still, quiet, very focused. The veil is thin and you can connect with that creative source energy. So where would you like to apply this creativity? The potential for infinite possibility. Is there some place in your life you feel stuck? Is there some place you really have some desire to be more creative in? Or a creative idea already that you need to just focus some energy to fill it out and to start to move into it? So imagine the possibilities for you in your situation. Invite in curiosity. Create an intention by feeling the energy of this, of all the potential and possibility of what you are imagining right now. And then come back into the body. Come back to the deep breathing from the root up through to the throat, from earth through water, fire, air to space. And then expand as you relax. Release the mudra. Relax your hands and arms down by the side, wiggling your fingers. And then prepare to come out of this by bringing your hands down by the side. If there's blocks in the way, move them out. And then use your hands to lift your head. Shift one hand at a time to the side. Engage the core to lift up. Bring the knees together, release the belt, stretch your legs out and move through the joints. Just notice how you feel. If you feel more open, more in connection with your body. From here, you're going to slide one knee over the other. So bending the knee of the top leg, it goes over, and the leg that is straight on the mat is going to veer off in the opposite direction so the knees stack a little bit more easily. Now, if this pose is quite easy for you, then you could double the stack. So bend both knees, stacking one upon the other. And if you are almost there but not quite, that you one sit bone, and that would be the sit bone of the lower leg. If that's rising off and you can't get a good grounding through the earth, then you can have a block or block and a blanket or 2 blocks in order to set this up. But if you're going too high, I would just recommend to keep that lower leg out straight. Then from here, dropping down the weight evenly through both sit bones, lifting up, and feeling that the spine is vertical, shoulders above the hips, not forward nor back. Try to lift up from the pelvic floor to center the rim of the pelvis parallel to the mat, to the floor. Then we're going to add a twist to this. So you're going to raise the arm of the same side as the top knee, and rotate away from that knee and that arm that is moved to the back. Just let it drop down and plug into either support behind you, whether that's a block or if you've got a blanket extended out behind you, that could be enough, just so that you're not leaning back nor pushing forward. So again, looking for the neutral spine relative to the walls around you. It's perfectly straight, perfectly horizontal. And give it a boost by pressing down through the sit bones evenly, lifting up through the crown of your head, and then rotate a little more. The arm that is against the front knee thigh area can push a little bit, but then just lock it in with the bones so you can relax through the shoulders. Relax into the muscles that you're feeling stretching in through the buttocks, the glutes, deeper than that, the rotators. And just feel where you're feeling sensation and breathe into that. Once you're nicely set up and into it, you can decide to turn the head towards the front shoulder or towards the back shoulder. Which way allows you to release a more congested pattern? Once you figure that out, just again, stay in it. Try to relax. Relax by connecting to your breath. If your mind carries you away, off into the past or the future, as soon as you notice, come back to the breathing and go to the technique of lengthening the breath, counting the breath. The inhale as long as the exhale, and the exhale slightly longer. Be curious and explore what methods help you stay present in the moment, staying present in the body and the breath. Yin practice is a wonderful way to really learn how to meditate, starting with the breath, starting with sensations in the body, learning how to be with them without judgment. Every once in a while, coming back to check that the sit bones are evenly weighted. You haven't lost the lift of the whole of the spine, the connection to those chakras, the root to the throat, and then also from crown of head up to the heavens. On your next inhale, unwind the turn of the head. As you exhale, unwind the turn of the spine. Readjust so that his shoulders are right above the hips. And then this next part, you might want to have some blocks here. So if you have enough sensation in the body, right upright. We're just going to do the second part of this series straight up. But if you can come forward, I want you to just start with your hands on the top knee and lift up from the sit bones, and then start to bring the rim of the pelvis forward. So this now starts to stretch in the low back. It might stretch in through some of the hamstrings and the glutes as well. But just for that, you're not rounding the spine. So here you could use your blocks to bring your elbows on and just rest your head so that you continue the stretch. Rest your head in your hands so that you continue the stretch without rounding the spine. If, however, you want to try a different version, you could bring your forehead, again stacking blocks, onto that. And then just the hands drop down to the floor, forehead resting softly on the blocks. And if you can't reach any blocks, however you stack them, just make sure you're not adding any stress into the neck, drawing the base of the skull backwards towards the back plane. And again now, return into your breathing, focusing the attention to the present moment. The present moment is where creative source lives. Practicing it here to being with your body and your breath, with sensation, with awareness around emotions and mental chitter-chatter. Coming back again and again to the body, to the breathing. Cultivates new habit patterns for the mind, for the emotional body, for the physical body, all more relaxed, all more in tune in the present moment. Preparing to come out now. Adjust so that your hands are on the floor if they're not. And then let the head start to float up. Connect with the root so that lifts up by engaging some core. And just pause for a moment and feel. And then prepare to set up for the other side, releasing the legs. And with the hands coming back, resting more on the buttocks. If you're on a lift, you can come off the lift. And then just rocking the knees side to side, so you're massaging any congested areas in through the glutes, down into the hip rotators. And then coming back to set up for the other side. So now, whichever knee was on top the last time, the opposite knee will be there. And again, one side might be quite different from the other. If this side, you can bend the other knee underneath, or you need to keep it straight. Do what serves you. So there's no point in having the bottom knee bent if you can't ground down evenly through both sit bones. So find that nice centered position. Sit bones drawing down, the spine lifting up. So energetically you feel really connected to both the earth and the heavens. Preparing now to go into the twist lift the arm to the side of the top leg knee and rotate away from it. Anchor the hand down, again on a prop, whether that's part of your blanket you're sitting on or a block behind you, or the mat if you're not on any lifts. And then anchor the other arm into the top of the thigh here. And again, the greater the length and the space between each vertebrae pair all along the spine, so that's anchored down, lifting up, the safer and more beneficial the twisting aspect. And then once you've got yourself anchored in through the bones of the back hand, through the bone of the front forearm, soften the muscles. Keep the lift of the heart, but soften the shoulders. Notice the tension that might be in through the pelvis area, and soften as you exhale. And then align the head by drawing the base of the skull back. And again, decide which way you're going to turn the head so that it's not painful, but you're being able to relax into it and unravel some congestion patterns that are there. Soften the mouth and jaw. Soften the eyes. You can close them to go more inwards if that feels safe. And then go to the breath. Expand it. Count it. Preparing now to come out of this. On your next inhale, unwind the head to neutral. As you exhale, unwind the spine. Keep that beautiful lift and just feel and notice sensations, benefits. And then start to shift out of the position. Stretching legs out, stretching through the joints of the legs, hips. And again, coming off your lift, hands back, and rocking the knees side to side to just bring some more movement of energy through all those spaces that you are really opening. Everything relaxed as you do this. So the next position we're going to do is moving the energy up further now into the chest and throat area. And there's several different ways we can do this. Basically, you want to have a soft block, maybe a blanket ready. And so I'm going to show you There's different things you can do with your legs as well, but the essential structure we want is to have a lift underneath the upper torso, so the chest area, and then the neck is going to open. So you're going to have the block. There's 3 heights to the block. This is rare that you could do that, and then I would suggest if you did with a heavy wooden block. This is the next size, or the flattest here. So I'm going to show you the middle one, and you can adjust accordingly. So just like when we did the first pose, Supta Baddha Konasana, reclining butterfly pose, once you get the block lined up with the center spine area, kind of just below the shoulder blades, you're going to press through the feet, lift the buttocks, tuck the tailbone, engage the lower abdominals, lower back down so you're actually higher up on the buttocks relative to the waist. And then you're going to come down, and I lift up here because I'm short torsoed. And then I'm going to place a blanket underneath my hip. Now, if I can lower, I want my buttocks on the ground, and that feels like it's a bit too much for me. So I'm going to change the position as long as the top of the block doesn't go into the neck. So it's chest below or at the point of the boniest structure of the cervical spine, C7, the last one, and then from there I can rest my buttocks down. So from here, if I have lower back issues, I'm just going to walk, heel toe the feet out to the sides, the knees come together, and apply a little pressure here. If it feels like it's a little too much, I'm going to take another blanket and bring it underneath the buttocks. So here, once the buttocks are lifted, I'm going to experiment and see, does this feel safe? Do I have a nice continuous curve through my neck? It's not a 90-degree drop off where things are getting constricted. And then I'm going to play with where my arms are. So if the arms are floating into space, that's not good. I want you to have your arms, hands on something. So again, it's nice to just to have some variations, blocks or books around. See, I could have another blanket here and have a little bit more of my forearm on the ground. The more you have connection to the earth through these various points of contact, the more you'll be able to relax. So if that's too much for the arms, they can come out to the sides, closer in line with the hips, and then focus in on your breathing. Now, as I mentioned, if this height is too much for you, you're going to work with the flattest depth of the block, so it's going to be wider underneath you. Same positioning, even on either side of the spine. The upper part just below C7, and the big bony part of the neck as it attaches into the thoracic spine, the chest spine. As you start to open up, you might be able to bring your arms up a little higher. Focus on your breathing. Follow the breath into the areas that are opening, particularly focusing on the chest area and the neck and throat area. Feel the breath moving between these areas. Feel your heart opening to unlimited potential. Connect with the creative energy in the potential of space in your neck and throat. What is the truth that you want to create? Let your palms be open to receive. Imagining yourself receiving what it is you desire, and that flowing in to fill your heart, to fill your voice, your thoughts with gratitude. And then when you're ready, going to move out of this. So just start by stretching through your fingers and hands, through the elbows and shoulders, then bring the hands to the base of the skull and lift the head up. And when you feel like the front of the neck muscles are strong, shift one hand down and shift over a little so that you can move the block out to the side. And then we're going to transition upright. So do so slowly. And come into a sitting position on your lift, especially if you have tight hamstrings or tight through the hips. And then we're just going to do a shorter final pose here before final relaxation. You're going to bring the legs wide. And again, if your hamstrings are super tight, you're sitting up on a lift. If they're super, super tight, you can always bring a folded blanket or a little roll towel under each knee. And this will transition the depth of the pose to go more into the back, which is where I'd like you to place it. But you can bring your legs out as wide as you can. And then you're going to keep the spine nice and long and walk the hands forward to the point where you're getting a nice stretch. Feel where it is in your buttocks or your back. And then again, depending on how far down you can go, I want your head to be connected to the earth through supports. So bringing whatever stack of blocks, soft block on top is nice. If you have an eye bag and it just needs to be a little higher, a little soft, you can put that on top. So resting the forehead on that. Relaxing the shoulders, keeping the chest broad. Feeling where you're feeling the stretch, the sensation, and relaxing the muscles. Bringing your attention fully into the breathing, into the sensation. Letting the exhale soften towards the sensation so it becomes less localized. And you start to tune into the subtle energy of the movement of energy in your body. peripheral area scans to notice where there might be some contraction, some rigidity, softening the belly, softening the heart, softening the shoulders and the neck and throat, jaw and mouth and eyes, scalp softening. Being loving towards your body, softening into the tension, just letting the body be your ally, your friend, telling you where the habits of congestion are. The mind and heart being willing to let them go. The more you release these areas of tension, the more you become free to choose behaviors, to tap into each present moment. Those tensions aren't distracting you. And then you really connect with the creative potential that you are by nature connected to, embedded within. That source creation. Preparing now to shift to final relaxation pose. You're going to use your hands to help lift the torso, pausing upright, and then bringing your legs in together. Bringing whatever movements help to integrate and flow that energy out. Get whatever you need for final relaxation pose, whether that's a lift underneath your knees to ease any tension in the back. A lift underneath your head, again, not too much of a lift so that you're not forcing your head forward. That kind of happens a lot throughout the day regardless. Eye bag if you like. If you're on the cool side, you relax more deeply if the temperature is more even. So just once you set up, you want to tuck the tailbone under a little bit. Place your eye bag on. Roll the shoulder blades underneath you a little bit. Open the arms to the sides a little. Maybe 10 to 12 inches away from the hips, palms up. Making any fine little adjustments so you can relax more deeply. Come back to the breath, follow it. Feeling it now like the whole body is expanding and contracting. The whole breath and body are one unified field. You are an energy field within the larger cosmic energy field. Like a caterpillar in a chrysalis, soon to be birthing new creation. Begin now to move out of this restful place. Bringing awareness back to the physical body, wiggling your toes and your fingers, stretching more fully through your feet and ankles and your hands and wrists. Gently rocking your hips side to side. Rocking your legs side to side and then bending the knees and placing the feet on the floor one at a time. Keep your attention and focus inwards as you rock your knees side to side, feeling that movement go up the spine, torso, and then roll over to your right side, cradling the head or having it on a blanket. Just keep the eyes closed. Pausing here and feel the position. Notice how you feel. Notice the greater level of integration between body, emotions, breath, and mind. And come back to your intention. What new dawn of creativity are you intending? Feel it, see it in your life. And then bring it with you and transition upright into an easy sitting or kneeling position, whatever is easier for you. Using any and all props that help support you in an effortless way to have a nice ground of the seat and a lifted spine to the crown. Bring your palms together in a prayer position at your heart. Let's take this moment together to bow to each other in gratitude for this practice and its benefits, to feel the unity between us. The creative source energy within me bows to the creative source energy within you. Namaste. Thank you for practicing today.